Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over the fastest SUVs in GTA Online, and this list features information from Bruffy1322, GTA Base, and my own personal experiences with these vehicles. If you enjoyed the video, consider dropping a like and subscribing if you're new. Let's go ahead and get started. Off rip at number 10, we got the Lampadati Novak for $608,000, which is a very reasonable price for an SUV. This is formerly one of the very fastest SUVs overall in GTA Online, but over the years the Novak has dropped a few places because SUVs have gotten faster and faster, like most vehicles in GTA Online. The Novak features all-wheel drive. It has good handling, however it does have a very weird weight balance to it, where it's kind of going to feel like it's going to tip over on your head if you're going through a corner too quickly. With that being said, it will make it through the corner, but it is just kind of a weird SUV to drive. Customization wise, there's not really a whole lot that can be done to it, and I don't really think it's the best looking SUV ever, but it's not the worst looking either as well. It has a top speed of 123 miles per hour. This is definitely not going to be the best choice for racing in GTA Online in the SUV category. However, for the price, it is a very solid competitor, and that's why it's on this list. Up next, we have the Enos Jubilee for $1,237,500 to $1,650,000, depending on if you have the trade price or not. Now, this is a first-gen Imani Tech SUV, meaning that it can take 4 RPGs or 12 homing missiles, and it also features bulletproof windows, front-mounted machine guns, and a missile lock-on jammer. The Enos Jubilee has pretty good customization, with good handling, and a good launch off the line as well, paired with a decent top speed, but it's not going to be on the same pace as some of the top SUVs in the category, and it comes in at 116.25 miles per hour. It's based off the Rolls-Royce Cullinan in real life, and that is a super sick SUV, but unfortunately in GTA, the Jubilee falls a little bit short of the Cullinan's luxurious reputation, because the Jubilee has the same interior as a Canis Seminole or a Dundreary Landstalker that came out with the game back in 2013. Slightly disappointing, still really quick SUV, pretty good one overall. Definitely one I recommend. Up next, we have the Ubermacht Rebla GTS for $1,175,000. This thing has excellent customization and looks overall, and additionally it also has awesome performance with quite good handling. And it features all-wheel drive, and it tops out at 123 miles per hour, which is pretty darn quick. However, one thing to note with the Rebla is that it particularly struggles off-road with steep inclines in particular. More so than a lot of other SUVs, it feels like, so this is something to be wary of with the Rebla, is to just keep it on the road as much as you possibly can. If you are going to take it off-road, just don't expect to climb up the side of Mount Chiliad or anything like that. Overall, it's a great SUV, it looks fantastic, but it's just not going to be the fastest for you in most scenarios. Up next, we have the Weenie Issy Rally, which I feel like is a largely forgotten SUV, and it's going to run you $1,835,000 plus an additional $650,000 for the optional HSW upgrade. This is technically the highest top speed SUV in GTA Online, coming in at 138.5 miles per hour. So if you want to do drag races with an SUV, this is probably the one to pick. However, it does struggle a little bit in the corners because it has quite a bad understeer issue. Now, other than the understeer, it's okay, it's good in the corners, but that understeer is going to kind of bite your ass occasionally with it. So that is something to watch out for. Customization wise, it also isn't that fantastic, and despite having all-wheel drive, it's not that good off-road, and like I said with the understeer, it can kind of struggle on-road as well. It's also really expensive, so not exactly the best SUV overall in terms of anything other than just purely going in a straight line. So be warned. Up next, we have a fan favorite, a classic, the Pegassi Toros for $498,000. One of the greatest bang for your buck vehicles in the history of GTA Online. And it features fantastic customization options for this thing. You can change this thing up so much. There are a bunch of different things you can do, which is absolutely awesome to see. I wish Rockstar would go this crazy on more SUVs, and hopefully they will in GTA 6, but for right now, this is one of the best that we have. This is also one of the fastest SUVs in the entire game, especially for a non-HSW SUV. It tops out at 128.25 miles per hour, actually making it the fastest non-HSW SUV in the entire game. Of course, it has all-wheel drive. However, the Taurus does notoriously struggle in the handling department. It just feels very, very heavy, and it feels like the tires have no grip on the road. This is something this thing will struggle with in corners, but on tracks with large straightaways and very little cornering, the Tauros is probably going to be one of the best options in the entire game overall. So this is one that I do highly recommend picking up, even if you don't use it for racing, just to have a Tauros for under 500k, really, really good vehicle. Up next, we have the Gallivanter Baller STD for $1,715,000. This thing has an optional missile lock-on jammer, and it comes equipped by default with bulletproof windows, which is very strange because it doesn't have armor plating or anything like that, and it's also not a first generation Imani Tech vehicle. So the fact that it has bulletproof windows is a blessing. Plus, it features all-wheel drive and has great handling, especially for a Gallivanter Baller. If you've ever driven a regular Baller in GTA Online, or really any Baller, you'll know that they understeer pretty horribly, but I'm happy to report that the Baller STD is significantly improved over all the rest of the Baller lineup. It also has a decent top speed of 118.25 miles per hour, but it definitely feels a lot faster than that in terms of top speed. Customization wise, this thing is absolutely fantastic. It may be one of the best SUVs, maybe cars, to customize in GTA Online. Like, it has a lot of options, which is great to see. I think it's pretty reasonably priced at 1.7 million for what you're getting in return. This is definitely one I would highly recommend picking up. Up next, we have the Karin Everon RS for $1,665,000, and yes, before you comment it, I am fully aware that this is a pickup truck. I did not decide that this should be in the SUV category in GTA Online, but for some reason, Rockstar decided that. Now, this vehicle doesn't have the best customization, but performance-wise, it is really, really good. It has great handling, all-wheel drive of course, good acceleration, and a good launch off the line. It feels a lot more gripped up to the ground than most SUVs do in this game. A lot of SUVs tend to sort of slip around on the ground. This thing feels quite a bit better than most of the other ones that I've driven, and it has a top speed of 125.75 miles per hour, making it pretty quick actually. Despite that this thing is a pickup truck, it is one of the best SUVs in the game. It is one that I would recommend if you're interested in it. However, the only thing about the Everon RS is it is useless off-road, even more so than pretty much everything else on this list. It just has no ground clearance, which is a big mistake. Even on the highest suspension setting, it's going to rub on the ground, so just be prepared for that. Up next, we have the Pfister Astron Custom for $1,720,000 plus $395,000 for the HSW upgrade. And a fun fact, this was actually the first HSW capable SUV in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now with that HSW upgrade, it increases the top speed up to 136.25 miles per hour, which is pretty darn fast. It also has great customization options that carry over from the regular Pfister Astron but fit with the Astron Custom, and it features a built-in wide-body kit on top of all-wheel drive and good acceleration off the line. However, unfortunately, the Astron Custom doesn't exactly have the best handling that I've ever witnessed on an SUV in this game. It feels pretty slippery, and in the corners, it's not going to steer the way that you hope it will. It'll probably understeer a little bit, but don't be too discouraged. It's not that bad. It just could be better, that's for sure. Up next, we have the Karin Woodlander for $1,611,000 plus $900,000 for the HSW upgrade. And with that HSW upgrade, you get a 136.5 mile per hour top speed, so a quarter of a mile an hour faster than the Pfister Astron Custom. And it features all-wheel drive with great acceleration. But what I will say about the Karin Woodlander is that it probably has some of the best handling for an HSW SUV in the game, especially compared to the Astron Custom and the Weenie Issy Rally. This thing just is light years better in the handling department. Plus, it's also far more capable off-road. It's a lot higher off the ground, and customization-wise, it's kind of lacking, to be honest. It could have been a lot better, but it still is decent. This is one that I would absolutely recommend if you play on a platform with HSW enabled. This is going to be your best bet to win SUV class races on pretty much any track because it has the best combination of handling and top speed out of all the SUVs in the game. However, at number one, we have the Canis Castigator for $1,650,000, and this is far and away the best SUV to use for tight and twisty racing circuits. Now, it's very small and it's very light and has a great turning circle, plus it features all-wheel drive, of course, with great acceleration and a decent top speed of 126 miles per hour, making it the second fastest non-HSW SUV in the game, which is pretty damn good. The Castigator also has some decent customization, albeit there could have been better customization. They also could have not made the Castigator into this. They could have given us a cheap Trackhawk like everybody's been asking for years, but we got the Castigator instead. Overall though, this thing absolutely melts in the SUV category, and really if you want to win SUV races, this is pretty much the only one to pick when it comes to those tight and twisty racing circuits with a lot of corners. Now if you have ones with more straightaways, you probably would be better with the Woodlander if you have it available on your platform, but otherwise the Canis Castigator is going to be your bread and butter. Thank you guys so much for watching my video on the top 10 fastest SUVs in Grand Theft Auto Online. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider dropping a like and subscribing to my channel if you guys are new. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, take care. Peace.